This is the Washington Times front page for Thursday, October 21st, 2021. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. Virginia Democratic gubernatorial nominee Terry McAuliffe is looking to regain his footing in the race against Republican Glenn Youngkin. Mika Selner reports McAuliffe hopes to get his campaign back on track with a visit from Vice President Kamala Harris and a stump speech from former President Barack Obama in Richmond this weekend. In recent weeks, McAuliffe has made a series of blunders, including comments in the last debate that parents shouldn't have input in Virginia public schools. A Monmouth University poll recently showed Youngkin gaining ground and the race in a dead heat. Migrants showing up to immigration hearings are deemed an exception to President Biden's vaccine mandates because they're seeking a public benefit or service. Those exemptions aren't sitting well with immigration judges and other employees who will have to interact with them, according to our Stephen Dinan. Those employees say allowing in the unvaccinated and untested people defeats the purpose of the mandate. In its August memo laying out COVID-19 rules, the Department of Justice said all employees, on-site contractors, and visitors need vaccinations or proof of recent negative tests. The exception is for visitors entering DOJ buildings to obtain a public service or benefit. The department's Executive Office for Immigration Review has determined that people showing up for their immigration hearings are there to get a benefit and aren't subject to the mandate. A review of the U.S. military by the Conservative Heritage Foundation think tank says the armed forces are too small to do what's being assigned and are burdened with equipment that's worn out from 2 decades of fighting in Iraq and Afghanistan. Military reporter Mike Glenn reports on the findings from the study, which found the readiness and capabilities of the Marine Corps as the strongest among the armed forces. Heritage analysts say they've tracked a downward trend in U.S. military strength since 2015. The report also claims the Army's force is about 40% smaller than it should be and is getting older faster than it is getting modern. A reminder that you can find all these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. Don't have access to the Times yet? Visit WashingtonTimes.com/George and get 25% off your annual subscription. Staying with the military, Joseph Clark sits down with General David Thompson, the second in command of the U.S. Space Force. In a wide-ranging interview, they discussed the increasingly effective space capabilities of China and other adversaries, as well as not letting the politics of whether the branch deserves to be a part of the armed forces get in the way of what they do. The Pentagon's newest branch is showing promise in speeding up the deployment of key assets as China and Russia continue to build up military systems to utilize space in military operations. And finally, a handful of elementary schools nationwide are canceling Halloween activities because some activists and administrators say the holiday is unfair to poor children and minority families. Sean Salai reports the East Lansing, Michigan School District has canceled celebrations because they exclude young children who become overwhelmed by the costumes. An elementary school in Seattle has also axed an annual pumpkin parade, saying that families of color feel left out. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and follow the Front Page Podcast on all of your favorite podcast platforms. Just search Washington Times. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.